He intended to crush the new recruit with the chandelier, but as it shook, he caught sight of Old He again. After locking eyes, Taizhi quickly withdrew. Old He swiftly pursued him. To stop Taizhi's spirit from disrupting the living, Old He chased and fought at the same time. After flying over the city, he seized the moment to turn his sword into a soul-binding rope. He wrapped it around the skyscraper 3 times before waiting for the right moment. As Taizhi soared up, he suddenly tightened the soul-binding rope. Out of compassion for Taizhi's injustice, he decided to give him another chance. He originally intended to persuade him to let go of his hatred and return to the underworld, but he didn't realize Taizhi's resentment had reached an unmanageable level. Even if he goes to hell in the future, he will seek revenge for the grievances of this life. As Taizhi's hatred surged, he forcefully snapped the soul-binding rope and vanished into the night sky. On the other side, consumed by despair, he arrived at Taizhi's house. He decided to put an end to this once and for all. When the elderly homeowner entered the door, oblivious to the truth, the new recruit threw a map into the yard and ran away. He simply didn't have the courage to explain to the elderly man. The map revealed not only Taizhi's cause of death, but also marked his gravesite. At that moment, Taizhi, hiding in the shadows, felt the new recruit's remorse. Steward, the new recruit put on his uniform again, ready to end it all. As he couldn't intervene in mortal affair, Old He could only stand by, lamenting this. At that moment, Taizhi appeared. He pleaded with Old He to save the new recruit. In exchange, he decided to let go of his hatred and accompany Old He to hell for judgment. Old He recognized the naive new recruit who had fallen into error only under the influence of others. He didn't want to see the tragedy repeat itself. To allow the new recruit to live with peace, Taizhi, through Lao He, declared that he had forgiven him. He advised the new recruit not to waste tears on it anymore. He must live well. Otherwise, he would no longer see him as a good brother. Ultimately, under Taizhi's sincere understanding, the new recruit finally untangled his emotional knots. Taizhi also calmly accepted his fate. During this time, Taizhi successfully navigated the 3 layers of hell. The first was the Hell of Lies, ruled by King Taizhi, and the Hell of Injustice, ruled by the King of Senses. In this place, those who simply watched coldly life would be frozen in ice, suffering from bone-chilling cold. And the Hell of Betrayal, ruled by Kisandi. Once someone was found to have betrayed others' trust in life, the king would imprison the spirit in a mirror, and then shatter the mirror as well. In the ensuing violent hell, Taizhi was not so fortunate. Prosecution claimed he innocently beat his younger brother in high school, and at that time, his brother was malnourished. To this day, his brother bears terrifying memories. Moreover, Taizhi never sincerely apologized to his brother. Afterward, he abandoned his ailing mother and left home with his young brother for 15 years until his death. He never visited his mother. Before the emissaries could plead, King Tumong decreed at this place, judged Taizhi guilty. As the ground was about to entirely collapse, 2 emissaries, seeing no way out, rushed to call their captain for help. Now he suggested they apply for cumulative penalties, which posed a significant risk for the emissary. For if Taizhi is still deemed guilty of betrayal in the final layer of hell, not only will he face a harsher double punishment, but even the defending messengers will be affected, losing the merits they have accumulated over centuries. Since this is the right of the defending messengers, the king of Taishan could only let them leave. As the 3 continued on to the next layer of hell, trouble brewed in the mortal realm. If death and new mother stormed into the military camp, she just wanted someone in the camp to find her son's remains, declared Taizhi of the desertion suspicion. Seeing a request on the board, the already anxious lieutenant feared that the truth would come out. He yanked the board aside abruptly. If Old He hadn't stopped Taizhi, he would have charged right in. The old man looked at the lieutenant with pleading eyes, while pulling out the map given by a new recruit. After seeing its contents, the lieutenant was immediately enraged. He shoved the old man away harshly. The already frail mother fainted from the shock right on the spot. Taizhi, trembling with rage, could no longer contain himself. The lieutenant had no guilt whatsoever, even being so harsh with the helpless mother. At this moment, Chuyun couldn't suppress his anger any longer. Even if he were to face eternal damnation, he would turn into a vengeful spirit to take revenge for his mother. Before Old He could intervene, Taizhi hurled him away. Harnessing the escalating resentment, Taizhi transformed into a massive tornado. At this point, Taizhi has completely lost his mind. He unleashes indiscriminate attacks on people below. Old He sees the situation becoming harder to control. He hastily calls for Datron to come help. Meanwhile, the brothers' resentment once again affects Taizhi's body is slowly being sucked into the sand. At the last moment before Taizhi is completely submerged, jealous yell echoes through the realm of life and death. It directly startles Taizhi. Old He takes the chance to explain everything to him. The only way to save his brother now is to let go of his own hatred. As Taizhi hesitates, Old He casts the soul-binding rope. He throws him down, halting the catastrophe. Then a mountain rises from the desert of the underworld. The messengers all know this is Taizhi, the final round of judgment in the realm of the living and the dead. The judge is the supreme ruler of hell, King Yama. Here, the judgment centers on whether the spirits upheld filial piety. King Yama, with a stern expression, skips the prosecution phase. He completely ignores the messenger's defense. He directly sentences Taizhi to the crime of extreme disobedience. It turns out that Taizhi during high school once, he even thought of suffocating his own mother with a pillow. At that time, his mother was seriously ill and needed frequent hospital visits. And the family's savings have already been severely depleted. His brother was even showing signs of malnutrition. At that time, the only solution Taizhi thought of was to free the whole family from their painful predicament. For this, he prepared a large amount of sleeping pills. He planned to suffocate his mother and then die with his brother. brother, though his brother stopped him. Taizhi ultimately halted this outrageous act, but upon realizing, he vented his anger on his brother. Unable to forgive himself, Taizhi left home. For 15 years, he worked tirelessly to make money, just to give his brother and mom a better life. During King Yan's sentencing, Xiaobu dared to interrupt to defend Taizhi. He has done everything he could for his mistake. Moreover, Mom was in a coma that day. She never knew what happened that night. So there were no victims at all. Unexpectedly, King Yan became even angrier. To crush Xiaoyu's hopes, he raised his hand and revealed the karmic mirror. This unveiled a heartbreaking truth for everyone. That night, it turned out Mom was awake all along. She knew that only by dying could her children live easier. So she was already prepared to pass away that night. Mom has never blamed Taizhi. He only hated himself for burdening the family. Now you realize how heavy your sins are? Your mother left with a knife in her heart. Buried that day's memories deep within. He always hoped you'd come home to see him, yet you refused to show up. Upon learning the truth, Taizhi cried uncontrollably. He admitted his guilt in court. He was willing to face any punishment. He only begs to see his mother one last time. He wants to apologize to his mother in person. But Yama, the king of hell, remains unmoved by this late remorse. He blames Taizhi for not apologizing in person for 15 years. What's the point of regretting after death? At the final moment of Taizhi's sentencing, the underworld suddenly shook violently. Taizhi's mother's silhouette appeared in the karmic mirror. It turned out to be Olhi bringing Taizhi into their mother's dream. Taizhi said he had become a great judge. Don't worry about yourself anymore. But we can't meet anymore, because I've become a heavenly judge. I have to go there to judge the evildoers. So Mom, don't come looking for me at the army anymore. Okay, Mom. Do you understand, Mom? And Mom, we used to. When you were sick in the hospital, I was malnourished because I had no food back then. Mom, remember when you were sick and didn't wake up? We really had a tough time. So, brother, that kid Taizhi plans to kill both of us. Mom knows everything, right? So that brother of mine, that idiot feels guilty towards Mom. Afraid to come home, working hard to send money to us. That idiot brother, he never had a proper rest until his dying day. Worked hard all his life for you and me. T.O.O. In dreams, Mother is free from physical restrictions. So he finally spoke. Mother never blamed Taeyu. She didn't think the brothers did anything wrong. It's all my fault for being useless and burdening the family. Actually, the one who should feel most guilty is myself. She truly sacrificed too much for her son. To gain the true forgiveness of the concerned party, and Taeyu would be free of guilt under Yama's personal verdict. She successfully entered reincarnation, though he never saw Mother one last time, and never got to express the regrets in his heart. But Mother could calmly accept the loss of both sons. Taeyu felt grateful for the help of the messengers. As humans, we've all made mistakes, but those who acknowledge their mistakes will look for ways to rectify them. You dare to ask for forgiveness directly, especially in front of family. It's even harder to voice. So what if you are the father? You can still ask for forgiveness for wrongly blaming your child. So what if you are the wife? You can still apologize for wronging your husband.